We have a language for race in America. Most Americans know about race, they think about racial inequality. We don't have much of a language about social class in America. We think that's something that happens in other countries where there's a king or there's a monarchy, or there's an aristocracy. People believe that they're middle class in America. And so many Americans report themselves to be middle class and resist the idea that we have social classes, that accidents of birth can have profound implications for the life paths that children experience. We live in an unequal society, and we know that families matter. Families are a big predictor of children's outcomes in many areas. According to kind of family you're raised in, often children have different levels of health, they have different income, they have different education. We designed a study that would allow us to look at class differences in family life. And we wanted to see how parents parented children, and we also wanted to see children's life experiences in those families. We did a 2-hour interview with 88 families whose children were around 10 years old. African American and white families, about half and half. We also looked at middle class families, working class families, and poor families. Now, among those 88 families, we did observations of 12 of those families. We visited families in their home. We usually went every day for about 3 weeks. We tried to see bedtime, we tried to see haircuts, we tried to see meals, we tried to see visits with extended family. All the families loved their children, but they had different ideas about how they should best raise their children. And in working class families, the parents were often very clear and they would give directives. They would say, don't do that, cut it out. And that would be the end of the discussion. You almost never heard children do back talk with their parents or questioning their parents. By contrast, in middle class families, the children would talk a great deal, they would protest, they would whine, and they would badger their parents to get what they wanted. There are also differences by social class and how parents supervise their children's lives in institutions. By definition, the working class parents and the poor parents did not have a college degree. Many were high school dropouts. We have to remember that at least 15% of Americans are functionally illiterate. So thus it was a reasonable decision on these parents' part to turn over responsibility for education to the school. They were waiting for the teachers to send them a form to give them information, to tell them what to do. By contrast, the middle class parents were very energetic in taking the lead. And so one mother had the teacher's school number in her cell phone. Another mother badgered the school to allow her child to be in the gifted program even when she didn't qualify. So the middle class parents were very aggressive in intervening in education. Middle class children tended to be busy. They often had many organized activities that were structured by adults. Although they were allegedly for fun and for leisure, they were in many ways like school. There were adults yelling and telling them what to do. They're saying, line up here, do this, do that. And so soccer, ballet, choir, Sunday school, jazz, all these different lessons that kids had were part of what we called organized activities. Well, the working class children had many important skills. They could play outside by themselves, they had more autonomy, they were much nicer to their siblings than the middle class families, and they had a way of having creativity and autonomy that the middle class kids didn't have. But the middle class kids had skills that were valued by schools and other institutions. They learned how to interact with people in positions of authority. They learned to be extremely organized from their organized activities. They learned how to negotiate with people. They learned how to use language. And because those skills are valued in schools and jobs, the middle class kids had advantages that the working class and poor kids did not have. So the original study was when children were 10 years old. So then I went back a decade later when they were 19 or 20. And really the bottom line is that there were no surprises. The middle class children, for the most part, had gone to college. But among parents who are blue collar, who have a high school degree or less, it's like a stair step going down the stairs. So about half will aspire for their kids to go to college. But then many fewer have children who actually take basic college prep, like math and English. Even fewer take the SAT or ACT, even fewer apply to college, and then those who apply and are accepted are less likely to go. Among the middle class parents, it's much less steep They can hire tutors. They can have you apply to other colleges. There are more resources going by their parents, but then often it's invisible, and the kids proclaim themselves to be the ones who did it. They don't see the many efforts that went in on the part of their parents and their class position to make the outcome possible. We have extremely successful working class kids who are very smart, who are very hardworking. They want to go to college. Their parents want them to go to college. And yet there are formidable barriers in making that happen. It's not only about money, but it's about cultural knowledge and information, which is a very powerful part of American society. And that's one thing that working class parents could look for. They don't necessarily have all the information, but maybe they could find somebody else who could provide that in their church or their extended family network or in their child's school, who can translate for them and help them understand what the critical steps are in achieving the American dream.